All right, let's move on to the next question. So, apologies, I'm probably mispronouncing this name, but Margihon has a really interesting question here relating to something quite, well, not similar, but probably, in the same domain. With the rapid growth of urbanization and the fast rate of deforestation and other changes in the natural ecosystem, will we see new diseases emerge due to interspecies transmission as microparasites become more exposed to humans?
So there is some debate about this, but the general consensus at the moment is that, and it's one of the things that I'll be discussing later in the course as well, in the course in one of the MOOCs. But the consensus is that generally things are going to get much worse because we believe that it's the small rodent species and it's the bats that are the ones that are the source of most of the infections. Or that's what the data tells us at the moment. So if rodents are really going to be the source of infection, as we're reducing the number of species in the area and the rodents are still living with us, we can be more likely to be exposed to those infections. So overall, yes, is what the feeling is at the moment, but the jury's definitely out.
Yeah.
What about the bat side of things? If bats are a major reservoir, are we contacting bats more as a result of destruction of habitats?
We really don't know about that. This is a relatively recent finding that bats seem to be able to share their infections, probably because they fly over the top of us and poop on us more or whatever, but they seem to be able to shed their viruses to other hosts more, and then it comes through those hosts and come back to us more than it.
So with habitat interruptions and degradation of things, are we encountering bats more?
I don't know. We don't know, I think.
And there's some other interesting hypotheses as well, that it's not so much the interaction between wildlife and humans, but the restriction of overall range can actually create these cascading collapses of communities in those remnant pieces of forest. Right? There's this wonderful work that's being done, wonderful hypotheses about the increases in Lyme disease. As a consequence of forest fragments getting smaller, you get the loss of species, in particular the loss of mesocarnivores that are eating all of those rodents. And the rodents are great amplification hosts for Lyme disease. Right? And so as a consequence of the forest getting smaller, you get a predominance of the animals that are sort of the incubators for this disease, right? And as a consequence from that, we have this higher rate of potential transmission. So it actually doesn't necessarily require increased interaction between humans and wildlife, but the change in the overall wildlife community that could potentially facilitate an increase in disease.